Hello and welcome to the Rhythm Factory. I'm Eddie C, and together with my co-host Peter D, we're going to bring you in touch with people in and around the music business. This is the podcast that takes you up close and personal. Well, hello, everybody out there. My name's Eddie C, and it's my colleague over here, Mr. Peter D. Hello. Today we have a very special guest on the Rhythm Factory. Let's give a warm welcome to our good friend, Mr. Frank Peeters. And Frank,
good morning.
Frank is a fantastic guitarist and very versatile. Maybe you can tell a little bit about yourself, Frank.
Well, yeah, playing in this business for more than 30 years, being professional. I did a lot of things being guitar player. I think I studied the kind of jazz a long time ago in the 80s, and nowadays I'm playing that kind of jazz as well, but more in the duo, like in funk and soul and Latin and that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's what I'm doing at this moment, making new CDs, playing every week, everywhere I try to, and so that kind of things, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, we always have a few questions we like to ask you, which go also a little bit deeper than just the actual making of the music itself. You have a couple of questions you wanted to start with, huh, Peter?
Yeah, sure. Of course, we checked your website, and Eddie is also already familiar with you. You guys play together, right?
Yeah, and several
bands.
Several bands and combinations. Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah. So, but Eddie introduced me to you actually. So I checked your website, and I found out that in your bio is mentioned that you like the music to breathe. What is your personal view as a guitarist in respect to that element?
I had the opportunity, I think it was in the 90s, to play with a very good saxophone player. It was called Ernie Watts, the saxophone player who played with a lot of guys and famous guys like Lee Ritenour and Charlie Hayden. We played once a kind of gig in the south of Holland, and we were doing a rehearsing in the afternoon, playing stuff of Charlie Hayden and playing stuff of Brian Bromberg, a bass player. And during that kind of things, between all those elements, he said something between solos. Oh, Frank, wait, let it breathe. He played the solo, and after that, I was so, I don't know, a kind of shy or whatever, focused. So I started my solo too quickly, and then he said to me, please, wait, let it breathe. And that is mentioned the word. It comes from that. It was the words of Ernie Watts himself. After that, all those years after that, I still used this thing myself in my own music. And even when I say it to my students or in my bands or whatever, I use the word breathe. Let it breathe. Okay, come on, it will happen, but give it the space. So that's the answer.
It's nice to hear you say "let it happen." Because that's how a story for a solo or maybe a composition starts to happen for you.
Yeah, I think so, because it's not only that that when you play there is music, but even when you shut up there's music, But you have to know the combination between that. So I think in all the settings I play, I try to do the same, just to focus to who you're playing with and what's happening, whatever kind of style you're playing, it doesn't matter, but just focus on what you want to make, and that's music. So, and that even is the space in music is very important. So.
Well, Frank, on your solo CD that I have, you use acoustic and electric guitars. Do you have, like, for example, a favorite guitar that you say, well, this is my baby? Or like, for example, B.B. King has Lucille,
Yeah. I have a few guitars, but there's one guitar is very special. I got it in the beginning of the 80s. It's a Gibson 175. It's like a model everybody knows from Joe Pass, the guitar player. That guitar is very special for me because I could buy that with a little help of my father. It was I just needed 1,000 guilders to get it. and my father gave it to me. So, but it was actually special when I get it at the moment, because I think a few months after that I played on the North Sea Jazz Festival with a big band, and I had my brand new guitar. So I felt like the king myself, using a brand new Gibson and playing on the North Sea. So it was kind of special. So, and still to the day, till now, I play, I think, on this instrument 33 years by now.
Oh, wow.
And yes, that's kind of special. And that guitar, yes, I rebuilt it in a kind of with new kind of pickups. What Tuck Andrews is using, Tuck and Patty, you know, the duo, because I wanted to have that sound. So I'm still playing on that guitar. It's very, very, very. It's kind of wide for me. So let's put it that way.
The sensitive strings.
Kind of, yeah, a lot of strings in there.
Okay, great, man.
Yeah, well, how do you decide whether to choose between an electric guitar or an acoustic guitar for a composition?
Wow, I don't know exactly in the beginning. I study every day. I think I never stop studying. I think that's good, being a musician. But so every day when I take my guitar, I don't know which guitar I take. I take a guitar. I have a few, so I take a guitar and I start to play. And then meanwhile, maybe after 5 minutes, I think, oh, this is more for a classical guitar, or this is more for the jazz guitar, or this is more for the ukulele or something like that, or for a steel string. I don't know. But first of all, I start to play, and then afterwards, I think, it's more this sound. So it takes maybe some weeks to see what's happening. But what Eddie's mentioning, my last CD was mostly acoustic. But okay, you have acoustic and acoustic. So I play a lot on the flamenco guitar, and I play a lot on the steel string guitar. So there's a lot of possibilities. But then I had time enough to practice those songs, and then I choose the instrument. So that's kind of how it works, I think. Just not from the beginning, you know. So, yeah.
You also work, of course, with several big artists over the years as a guitar player, international and national artist. How did they influence you in your way of being a typecast guitarist, so you're able to put yourself in the positions that you do?
I think the guys I play, but I just was calling Ernie Watts. But there's another man who I do respect, and this the old singer of Santana. It's Greg Walker, the guy who sung "She's Not There." You know, everybody knows the song. Yeah. I was lucky that I was playing with a big band from Holland, and we played in New York and Las Vegas and that kind of stuff. And so I met him, and yeah, we were talking a lot about music and the business, and he did influence me in kind of his being a musician, just being a normal person who is a kind of famous whatever, just call it that, but like a normal person who could tell me something about the business and play very good music and sing very well, and that was great. I always was a big fan, and I am a big fan of, when I was young, 14 years, I think, of Carlos Santana. So I always thought by myself, I have to do something with this. And then after a lot of years, it happened, I was with this guy on stage. So for me, it was like a dream coming true.
Sure.
And that's very stupid, but it's just an example. But like Ernie Watts and Greg Walker, for me, it's good to know, and I did something with that. It's what I mentioned before. So that kind of people, I like. So the more people like that, but
we'll tell a few more. Mention a few more.
You have, of course, the Dutch scene where I played with a lot of theater shows and whatever, and there still you get the influence of people you're playing with in kind of festivity, and you play with whatever the Pointer Sisters are playing there or whatever. You have to work with them. So that kind of influence, whatever, the Trams, you were there too, I think, and it was here in Utrecht, and all these kind of little things, they make you up. They make you as a complete musician. Yeah, and that's what you're saying. Yeah. I always focused on. I think it is an American way of thinking itself, to try to do as much as possible, but do it good. So it can be funk, soul, the old disco, or a kind of flamenco, or a kind of country, or a kind of Latin, or that kind of stuff. I play all this. I try to play all this kind of stuff, and I do that with several bands doing that. So yeah, I like to be that, not only a jazz guitar player or a pop guitar player, whatever. Just try to do the whole thing. That's very important, I think.
That's good to be around a musician.
Well, I would like to know in the typecasting for your own projects or CDs, how all those experiences and the people you play with influence you in a way that you know what kind of musicians you need or want for a project you're doing or for a CD you're making.
As I told before, when you start to make something, then I don't know in the beginning if it's a band song or if it's going to be a solo song. This is the same story I told you to which guitar I use. It's the same. So I don't know exactly in the beginning who I need to play with me, or, you know. So afterwards, of course, you're working, the last 20 years, I work with a lot of same musicians because, you know, there's a click. In our business, you have a click with certain people. So there you work with. Sometimes you meet a young guy who's 25 and he understands you, then you play with him. Or maybe he's on your CD. It's possible, of course. But mostly I work with the same guys because I know, well, if I do this, they can follow me immediately. You know, when you're playing on stage, they are the same guys because you do this, hup, and they're there. The same in the studio. They know if I say, come on, give me a guide and give me a rhythm, it's there, and then I'll play, and then I see what's going to happen. And afterwards, I think, you're going to do the right drums thing. Then I call the bass player. That I have a few bass players I can use. I'll play this kind of thing or this kind of thing, and so it happens. But I think they're mostly the same guys I know for more than 10 or 20 years, some guys. So that's what's going to happen now.
Right. Thanks.
I have a question for you. We always like to ask our artists if they have like an awkward or funny position that they've been in during their career that they think from, oh, wow, that was something that I went through and it was funny. I hope to never go through it again.
No, I never. Okay, awkward is no, almost mostly are funny things. There's not one thing what happened that I said, oh, this is not good, or so, something like that. No, it didn't happen. Maybe in another way that you're going to play in a bar and they send you home. But what happened? Okay, what happened last week when you go to a bar and you are not welcome and they send you home and without reason? That's okay, but there's another reason. But I'm going to tell you another story. I was playing with a famous Dutch cabaret woman, and I think it was 20 years ago. And we played in Carré in Amsterdam, and I had to come out with my guitar. It was okay. The song was finished, and there was, the lights went out. I had to go to the front of stage with my flamenco guitar and had to play an intro. And the intro was kind of Paco de Lucia thing on a piece from Bryan Adams, something like that. So I started to play that kind of intro on my way. Takes maybe 20 seconds. And then normally she had to come out from the right in the spotlight and then she started to sing. So I played my intro and I was almost finished. I looked to the right. Oh, she's not there. Oh, so I have to improvise to make the intro longer. Okay, no problem. So I do it again. I looked to the right. She is still not there. So I had a lot of feature for myself, at that moment. But I was not kind of panic, but I played it again 3 times. And then I saw something from the right. She's coming. But she hadn't. It was something strange. I don't know what happened. So then I stopped my intro. And then she said, "Sorry, Frank, but I forgot my shoes." It's very simple. So I started to smile, and I couldn't play. And it took some seconds. I said, "I'll play it again, the intro," and then I played it again, and then the song started. So, but it was a nice moment. So yeah, that happened at that time. Yeah.
How did the people react on that? The audience,
because she is a cabaret woman, so everybody thought it was a part of the show, of course. But it was everybody was laughing, of course. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot my shoes.
I have one more question for you. In the day and time of music that we're living in, how is your vision towards the way you'd like to see the industry? I mean, the industry has really, musicians are not playing as we used to. We're now, of course, in an age of modern technology, DJs, the whole smartphone industry and everything. And what is your vision about how you'd see yourself, say, maybe in 5 years?
I think there are good things of what's happening now, but I think at the end this is not for lasting long, this kind of situation what's happening now, because all the people who use the music, it's our music when we were young. You can hear all those kind of music coming by. There is not too much new material what is going to during a last time, a long time, I mean. And so I think they always need good musicians at the end. So it doesn't matter what we play, because we know all the styles. If you now have people who are 15 years and you're going to say something about funk, soul, or whatever, or Latin, they look at you, what you're talking about. They even don't know what you're talking about. You say reggae, you talk about Johnny Rotten or the punk or the funk or whatever. They don't know. So, to make a long story short, I think they always use the good musicians to that they don't forget that you have all the styles of music, and they need it. Not maybe now for this moment, but within a few years, you will see everything is coming back. They're going to use the same things again. They need the new musicians again. So that's what I think.
Okay. Wow. This has been a very, very pleasant having you here, dear old friend of mine. And you have your website, which is www.frankpeters.com. Yeah.
It's with double E, right?
Double E, yes.
Yeah.
So there's www.frankpeters with a double E .com. And we want to thank you once again for coming and do the podcast with us. It was very pleasurable. And at short notice as well, also our camera crew, because you'll see our podcast also once a month coming on with the video podcast. Remember, if you have any information or want to have any questions, or you'd like to be on our podcast, actually, you can get in contact either with the Rhythm Factory, that's Rhythm Factory with a dash in between .nl. And you can also reach you can also reach me via jazzolmusic@gmail.com. And Peter, you can be reached at
info@peterdoppen.nl.
Okay, that was it for this particular podcast today. We hope to see you again soon, and thanks for checking out the Rhythm Factory.